Hi guys, it's Cassie and today we are going to be talking about the best and worst investment bags of 2021. Guys, if you are new here, my name is Cassie. I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I put out videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion then you're probably going to love it here. So head down there, subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. Guys, are you ready? Let's go. So when I'm talking about investment bags, I'm talking about luxury handbags that either retain or go up in value should you wish to sell them. Now, this changes all of the time depending on brands and how hot they are and certain trendy pieces and colours and sizes that people are interested in. So this is going to be based on what I've seen happening at the moment. Personally, I don't buy my bags for investment value or for resale. I buy my bags with the intention to keep them. Some people really change up their collection very regularly depending on what they're not using anymore to make room for something that they're more interested in now. That makes sense. I'm a hoarder. This is just a personal issue that I have. But I do find this topic very interesting and you might get some value out of it. So I'm going to start off with the worst investment bags and end with the best. Kicking off with the worst. There are certain brands that just don't hold their value, okay? I'm talking Prada, Gucci, Valentino, Loewe, YSL/Saint Laurent and Off-White. Now, a really good indicator to see if something has good investment value is whether or not it goes into the sale. If you see these kinds of brands make it into the sale quite often, then they really don't hold their value because the bags that do hold their value don't really go in the sale kind of thing. I have an example for you. This is the Gucci Ophidia belt bag, right? It comes with a belt. Now, I bought this and it was about £800. I had a quick look on Vestiaire Collective and people are selling this for around £500. So that's just an example that I wanted to share with you. It's Gucci. It's also a little bit of a less classic style, you know, like it's not like a flat bag or something like that. A belt bag, so that also will have an impact. The same thing with the Gucci Marmont belt bags that were really, really big a couple of years ago. Again, they're around 800-ish. They're all on the resale market for around 500. The second category of worst investment bags are seasonal/limited edition bags. This depends. There's a lot of exceptions with investment bags, right? But unless these items were crazily sought after at the time that they came out and they were super limited and you couldn't get your hands on them and all of that business, but the majority of seasonal colours, fabrics and things like that. When I talk about seasonal pieces, I talk about seasonal colours, summery corals and oranges and, you know, less easy to style, less classic colours. You know, your blacks and the beiges you've got a better chance with than pinks, blues, greens and all of that. Okay, the third category of worst investment bags are trendy bags. Once again, there is a huge exception that we are going to go to in the best section. These are bags that are super trendy but readily available, okay? They're not like selling out, they're not particularly hard to get. And I have an excellent example for you. My Bottega Veneta chain cassette, okay? This is as trendy as it gets. You know, it's definitely not a classic colour and all of that. It's very trendy, it's got the chains. Chains are really in right now and all of that business, right? It ticks all of the boxes for a trendy bag. However, it's readily available. You can go on Farfetch and Net-a-Porter and My Teresa and pick one up today. Now, this bag, full price, is £2,800. On Vestiaire, the last one that I found was sold at £2,200. And this is a very new bag. You know, this only came out, what, about 6 months ago-ish kind of thing. So that really tells you something about these kind of trendy but readily available bags. The last category of worst investment bags is anything personalised. Do not get a bag personalised if you think you're going to sell it in the future. Why would I, whose initials are CT, be interested in your SQ bag? You know? Like, it makes no sense. You can see why the resale value of these is just like to the floor. I love a good personalisation, why not? But make sure that you make that decision with a view to keep that forever, pass it through generations, maybe, I don't know. But if you're trying to sell, Don't do anything personalised. Moving on to the best. Now, before I get on to the best ones, I do just want to remind you about the Holy Trinity. There is a Holy Trinity of handbag brands, and these three are the top brands to buy for keeping their value, keeping or going up. So you've got your Hermès, top of the food chain there, okay, best investment value of all the bags, we will get to it. You've got Chanel and you've got Louis Vuitton. The first best investment bags I'm going to talk about are Chanel classic bags. Chanel has their classic range of bags, okay? You've got the classic flap, you've got the reissue, you've got the boy bag, you've got the Gabrielle, you've got the 19. Those are classics in that they always have those designs, and these bags always are part of the price increases that Chanel does twice, possibly 3 times, depending on how fun they want to make the year, times a year, okay? So those bags are always included. They always go up a few percent, sometimes up to 25%, we don't talk about that, across the year, which means that if you bought it last year, in a year's time, that bag has gone up in price. So if you wanted to sell it, you could probably get what you paid. And if you hold on to it for long enough and keep it in good enough condition, then in years to come, you could get probably more for that bag, if you get what I mean. Some classics do better than others, and what I mean by that is like a classic flap and the Chanel 19. These are still so popular, so sought after, there's a huge demand behind them, as opposed to something like the Gabrielle, which is a little less popular. So, you know, it doesn't do as well, if that makes sense. Let's talk about the Birkins and the Kellys. Reason why they are the best bags to buy for investment value, because they're so hard to get. Now, I have some numbers to illustrate for you. So this bag I bought for £6,800. This exact same bag, I asked a personal shopper for her price for this, basically, and it was £15,000 plus sourcing fees. And then I asked Privé Porter, which I think are like, they must be the world's biggest like Hermès dealers, like it's a drug or something, in the world. They literally have a Birkin shop opening in Miami. Anyway, I asked them $21,000 for this exact bag. This in dollars I think was about like just over $9,000. I'm sorry, what? It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's purely because of how hard they are to get. Within the Birkins and the Kellys, there are certain sizes that are more sought after than others. At the moment, everybody loves a tiny bag. TBE, tiny bag energy. So your 25s have better resale value than your 35s, for example. Same thing with Kellys. The mini Kelly, everybody wants, less so a 32, you know? But that's something that changes with time. You know, at the moment we're into TBE. Next thing you know, it might not be that long before we're into BB, big bag energy. Personally, I don't think I'm ready for that. The next best investment bags, let's talk about Louis Vuitton, okay? Once again, Louis Vuitton has their classic range, your Neverfulls, your Speedies, your Keepalls, that kind of thing. Why? Again, they're always included in price increases. So if you buy it now, next year it's gone up in price a bit, all of a sudden when you want to sell it and it's in great condition and everything else, you could get what you paid for, and in the years to come, a bit more kind of thing, right? And finally, the last category, which I think is a very interesting one of investment bags, I have deemed them hype bags. These are super trendy bags that are hard to get. Certain bags pop off, and this is why they're so hard to predict, because you don't really know which bag it's going to be until it happens, and then you don't know how long the hype wave is going to be ridden before all of a sudden it's not that trendy and all that anymore, right? So, best example of this is the Louis Vuitton MPA, the multi-pochette accessoire. The hype around this bag was crazy, and it's still so hard to get that the resale value for this bag, I remember just after I bought it in its like first drop, so I think I paid, what was it, 1,150 or something like this. Then they started putting it up in price, so already investment value, and then they made it super hard to get, so people are on waiting lists and haven't been able to get this for months and everything else, which again, oh my gosh, people were selling this for like 3,000 on Vestiaire and Fashion File and everything else, purely because they could. Let me know how you feel about investment bags. Is this something that you particularly care about? Was there anything shocking or interesting to you in you know, what I just talked about? I'm going to leave a link to another video here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah! Bye, guys.